Let's read some standalones this week. I picked 3 books to read for this vlog, and these are the books. Let me show them to you in detail. The first one that I want to read is Funny Story by Emily Henry, a book I bought for myself last year, and I can't wait to read that finally. And I already started it, but I'll tell you more in a bit, because first I want to show you the other 2 books, because both are Ox copy I got from the publishers. The first one is Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. I haven't got this copy as an art copy. I bought this for myself and pre-ordered that the moment it was announced because it sounded so good, and I loved this cover, and I love that we have an alternative cover under it on the naked hardcover, and that this is part of the plot. But as I said, I bought this for myself and I got this version as an ARC. So thank you to NetGalley and Gollancz Publishing. It made me really happy to get this at the end of November, I think. And I already took a sneak peek in it, but waited to read it closer to the publishing date. And all I can say is that I've read the first 2 chapters and that I really like it so far. I don't have much experience of African culture, so it is super interesting to learn more about it, but it is not too in your face, I think. And I really like to learn more about Zelu, our female main character. And she is not only African American, she's also disabled, so a lot of representation. And I really love that and can't wait to read more. And the third book for this vlog is the German copy of Blood Over Brighthaven by Emil Wang, a book that I also got by the publisher, so thank you to the Adrian Verlag. I cannot wait to read this, because I heard so much good things about Blood Over Brighthaven, and every person that I saw reading this said afterward that this is a highlight and a 6 out of 5 stars book. So I'm really curious, but it has to wait for a little bit, because the first book that I'm reading for this vlog now is Funny Story. And as I said before, I already started it and am 174 pages in. So I read the first 12 chapters so far and I love this book. It is a funny story. It made me smile and laugh and giggle so much, and I really fell in love with Miles. He is such a golden retriever good guy that I can't get enough of him. And I also love Daphne, our female main character. We are starting into the story with 2 big breakups, because Peter, the fiancé of Daphne, breaks up with her a few months before the wedding to get together with his best friend, Petra. They were best friends since childhood, and he said the whole time, "Don't worry about her, we are just best friends." But now they want to be together, and he gives Daphne 1 week to move out of his house so Petra can move in, which is a real dick move from him. And Petra also had a boyfriend, Miles, and the only solution for Daphne in this moment is to move in with Miles. So they are now roommates and live together, but not much more than that, until the point where Peter and Petra announces that they want to marry and have the audacity to send both of their exes invitations to the wedding. And they decide to go to that wedding and they start to fake date. So Petra and Peter can get jealous. And I really love how this friendship between Miles and Daphne develops over time. And that Miles really shows her that she has a life besides what she had with Peter, because she only lived for him. She moved to his hometown with him, had no friends beside his friends, and now she needs to find out who she really is, what she wants from life. Miles really shows her that life is worth living and shows her around town, shows his favorite places, and it is so cute. I really love it. And I can't wait to read more. What I will do now. And I finished Funny Story by Emily Henry. I had a really good reading day yesterday and read half of the book in one sitting basically. And I have to say, it is not my favorite Emily Henry book, but I really liked it. I like Beach Read, Book Lovers and Happy Place a little bit more. But Miles, the male main character, is definitely the highlight of my book. And he's such a green flag, such a golden retriever. I really fell in love with him. The only thing I didn't like about him was that he was smoking weed sometimes. And I also liked Daphne, the female main character. And I really could understand her troubles with life and finding herself and starting new after the breakup with her former fiance. Miles really helped her through this time. As I said in the clip before, he showed her his favorite places. He spent time with her. She found friends at work. These are all the little details that mattered, and we found out more about their backgrounds throughout the book, and it really helped to understand the characters better and to understand their fears and their struggles with life. And I really enjoyed reading this book. I didn't like the third act breakup and the reasons for it. I didn't like the whole story with Daphne's father. I don't think the story needed that, even if I can understand that it brought all the troubles back to the surface so that the characters had to deal with it. But I think they could have done that without breaking up and without this drama from the outside. But I liked a lot of the side characters, like Ashley, which is Daphne's work friend, or Julia, Miles' sister. They really added something to the story and gave it more depth, which I always enjoy. I hated Petra and Peter, the exes of both. They are both so self-centered and manipulative. I really started to get angry every time they appeared or were only mentioned from Daphne or Miles, because it really showed how they treated their partner and that it was not okay. So in the end, I was really happy to get the happy end of Miles and Daphne and can't wait to read more from Emily Henry. This was the last one for now. The next Emily Henry book will be published in May, I think. I forgot the title, but I can show it here. And after I finished this book now, I will continue with Death of the Author and will tell you more about it after I read some more pages. I am now 49% into Death of the Author, so it's time for an update. And I really love the book so far. It shows African culture, especially Nigerian culture. It shows Zelu on her way to become a famous author, and so much more than this. This is the book she wrote, Rusted Robots, and I really love that we are having excerpts of the book in the book, and I can't wait to continue reading. In the first pages, I didn't know if I would love Zelu as our main character, but I do. She is disabled and needs to use a wheelchair. She gets fired from her job in university, so the only thing that's left for her is writing. And with all the anger about her situation after the university fired her because she was rude to the students, even if she just wants to educate them, and they just didn't want to listen and complained about her because these white young boys didn't want to hear her advices because she is female, because she's black, and that fact alone made me really angry. So I really liked the fact that Zelu used this chance to write her novel Rusted Robots, a science fiction novel based in an apocalyptic world where humanity is almost extinct and robots took over. And it is really interesting to read these excerpts throughout the story and follow Zelu on her way to get this book published, to get it a really big worldwide bestseller, to even get a big movie adaptation, and to see all the criticism throughout this whole process from her perspective. And it is really heartbreaking to see that Zelu's family doesn't really support her career and her life choices, because at one point Zelu gets the chance to work with a research team at the MIT that works on exoskeletons. So she gets the option to get an exoskeleton for her legs, so she will be able to walk again. And her whole family is against it. They don't want to support her and even think that this will shame the whole family. I can't say if this is a cultural thing or just Zelu's family, because I don't have this experience with Nigerian culture or American culture, because I'm from Germany, I am white. I can't say anything to that, but it really broke my heart for Zelu. And I'm really glad that she is such a strong female character, that she makes choices for her own, that she thinks are best for her life and for herself, even if her family doesn't support her or if she will be criticized for it. The same for the movie adaptation. I just read the scene where Zelu saw the full movie on the premiere day and she hated the movie for reasons I can totally understand, because these movie makers took everything away from the story that was the heart of the story. So the whole African culture, they changed the setting to America. They changed the names of the robots from African names to American names. And I hate this. I really, really hate this. But at the same time, this is super realistic. It is how our world works. Not that I like it, but it is how it is in today's society. So this book is criticism on that, and I totally support that. And now I can't wait to read more about the story. There is a big scandal now that just appeared from an interview that Zelu made in TV. And also this really broke my heart, or is breaking it, because I'm in the middle of the scandal. So I will continue reading now and will update you after I finish the book. I have finished Death of the Author, and I can say I really loved this book. I enjoyed every single topic of it, the society criticism, the whole part about the publishing industry and how this works, including making a movie out of a book. I loved the family part of it. I loved the African culture part, especially Nigerian culture. I loved the technical part of it, with Zelu getting an exoskeleton. I love that our female main character is disabled and that we have a lot of representation here in this book. I loved reading part of Rusted Robots, and that we can also enjoy the sci-fi story she wrote and that got a bestseller. It is super character driven, the book, but I'm a fan of that and I really like that. I love reading character-driven literary fiction, and that was that, including a lot of drama, a lot of conflicts, a lot of character development, and some twists and turns that I didn't see coming. So for me, this is a 5-star highlight. And I can only recommend reading the book if you are interested in the topics I talked about. And after that, I will now read my next book and the last book for this vlog, which is Blood Over Brighthaven. And here I am again. I started reading Blood Over Brighthaven by ML Wong and am now 180 pages into the story, and I really like it so far. I have to say the first chapter threw me a bit off, because that was a whole different vibe than I expected for the story. It was more survival-based fantasy, and I really had my problems with the first few pages to get into the story, to understand what's happening. You get thrown in a situation where it is really hard to understand how the world works. But after some pages we get to a really emotional scene, and that got me. I almost cried during reading that scene, because there were so many emotions and I didn't expect that in the first chapter. But I really loved it. And after that, in chapter 2, we get to the dark academia setting that I've expected for the book. And we are staying with this setting and the POV of Skiona, our female main character. The first chapter was from the POV of the male main character. So from Thomiel, I think it is Thaumiel, and I really like how these storylines intertwine after a few chapters, and we get a cohesive story where they both work as a team. As Death of the Author before, this is a lot about criticism on our society and our history with racism and misogyny, because our female main character, Skiona, is the first female ever that gets a really high position in the magic organization here, but all the men on this level ignore her, make fun of her, because they are scared, they are jealous of her abilities to work with this magic, and they are definitely intimidated by her. So I really like that there are a lot of prejudices, not only about women, but also about Quen. Quen are a different race of people. I think that's the best explanation. And Quen are pictured as dumber than the normal human because they are from outside the city where the story takes place. They can be used for hard work but are not appreciated by society and are more treated like slaves. So they have to fear for their life when they make mistakes. And that is really hard to read, especially because Skiona, our female main character, also has some of these prejudices because of how she grows up and what she learned. But she treats Thaumiel with respect, and I really appreciate that. They work as a team, they are equal in a human way. She really respects him, and I really like to read that. And I can't wait to continue reading and to see how they continue working together, how they hopefully throw off this misogynistic society. And we have also a lot of religious beliefs in that. Beliefs that maybe aren't based on truth, but it is a really cool setting here. I like the magic system. I like the criticism on society, and I will continue reading now. And here I am again in the same clothes as 2 clips before, because at the same time I finished this one, I can now film my final thoughts for this vlog on Blood Over Brighthaven. I read the books at the same time, and sadly I have to say I haven't finished the book. I have 160 pages left. I'm on page 300 now, and we have Monday evening. This vlog should go out tomorrow and I have to edit it before that. So these are my final thoughts for the vlog. I will give you the final thoughts on the book in my wrap up. I promise that. And I can say this is probably also a 5-star read if nothing changes in the last third of the book. But I doubt that. There are a lot of topics similar to Death of the Author. We have a society that is super patriarchal, misogynistic, and racist. So we get a lot of criticism on that, as I told you before. But in the clip before that, I didn't know how far we get into that, how heavy these topics are, because wow, I didn't know how racist this book was. And I looked it up. There is no trigger warning in this book, but there are a lot of triggers, as I said, with racism and misogyny and a lot of violence. So you should prepare yourself for these topics. And I have to say, I'm really into the story at this point. I read over 100 pages today, but I need to take a break now because the story is so heavy. And the last chapter I read today, which was chapter 15, made me rage so much that I couldn't read more of that for today. And Michelle, my body read partner, has already finished the book today and said the rest of the book is like that. So I want to take my time with it and don't want to rush it just for finish it for this vlog, because I think this book gets better if I take my time and have time to think about what's happening and discussing the whole story with Michelle. So I will do that over the next days, and I hope we can find a solution for the big problem we have in this book and maybe start a revolution. I don't know, we will see. But this society really needs some drastic changes, and fingers crossed that we will get that. And with that, we are officially finishing the vlog now. I've read these 3 books for the vlog. One I have not finished, but I will do after filming that and let you know in my wrap up what I think about it. I really enjoyed all 3 of them so far. And please tell me in the comments if you have read any of these books and what do you think about them. Like the video if you wanna, follow my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!